There will never be another character like Conquest.
Mark.
No. There's no way.
This is what happens when you don't finish what you started, boy.
There have been many villains in Invincible, but the arrival of Conquest marks a tonal shift so abrupt and violent that it almost feels like the series itself has been invaded. Up to that point, the show explores brutality, yes, but nothing like what Conquest brought forth. He takes all of the brutality and violence that we have seen to another level. He is not conflicted adjacent, not even particularly invested in outcomes. He is singular. His purpose is violence, and more disturbingly, his pleasure is violence. In just the 2 episodes where he takes part in, he leaves an impression that rivals, if not surpasses, villains who have had entire seasons to develop.
Delicious.
What makes Conquest so uniquely depraved is not just the scale of destruction he causes, but the intimacy with which he delivers it. Many villains destroy cities. Conquest makes destruction feel personal. Every blow he lands is accompanied by commentary, every injury punctuated with mockery. He does not simply fight, he interacts. His dialogue during combat transforms what would otherwise be a clash of strength into something far more invasive. He studies reactions, feeds off resistance, and adjusts his cruelty accordingly. When he taunts Oliver while attempting to rip him apart, it is not just about ending a life. It is about stretching the moment, amplifying fear, and asserting dominance in its most humiliating form. Oliver is not treated as an opponent, but as a plaything, a fragile object meant to be broken slowly.
And you are. I prefer to know who I'm dismembering. You feel your body starting to rip. First, your muscles tear just as it starts to rip. This is going to be amazing.
This sadistic engagement extends even further in his encounters with Adam, Eve, and Mark. His assault on Eve is particularly savage. Eve is not merely incapacitated. She is brutalized in a way that underscores Conquest's desire to dismantle not just the body, but the spirit. He recognizes emotional bonds and weaponizes them, knowing that hurting her will ripple outward, intensifying Mark's suffering. And when Mark finally confronts him, the fight becomes something almost euphoric. Conquest revels in each exchange, each escalation. The destruction of entire cities becomes background noise to what he truly values, the raw, physical, and emotional agony of his opponent.
Oh, such a strong bond.
And this moment, where he disembowels Mark while being choked, perfectly encapsulates his character. Conquest operates on a completely different set of instincts than most beings. Where even the most monstrous would cling to survival, he treats it as an afterthought. As his life begins to slip away, he doesn't panic or retreat. He revels in the violence, savoring each moment of tearing Mark apart. There's no urgency in him, no fear, only satisfaction. It's a disturbing inversion of natural instinct. Survival is secondary, while inflicting suffering is the priority. But that does not happen here. What truly unsettles him is not the danger itself, but Mark's refusal to play by the rules he believes in. To Conquest, a fight is something to be drawn out, experienced, and enjoyed, not ended abruptly, something that Conquest believes that Mark understands after trauma dumping on him. Mark's attempt to choke him out and finish the battle quickly clashes with that belief. Only when Conquest realizes that Mark is genuinely trying to end the fight immediately and won't relent does he shift his focus toward survival, finally attempting to escape and strike lethally. But by then, it is already too late.
Stop!
You think I'm gonna give you a chance to surrender? I am having the time of my life here.
Is this what you wanted? You enjoy yourself? Still having fun?
And yet, woven into this relentless cruelty is one of the most unsettling elements of his character, his self-awareness. His speech to Mark about loneliness is not a moment of redemption, but it is a moment of clarity. He understands that he is feared, avoided, and ultimately isolated by his own kind. Other Viltrumites, beings already defined by their ruthlessness, see him as excessive, unstable, something to be kept at a distance. He has no personal name, no identity beyond function. Conquest is not who he is, it is what he does, and he knows that.
Viltrumites have nothing like this. It's a weakness, really. I am so lonely. All the other Viltrumites are scared of me. No one talks to me.
Tell me all your deepest feelings again?
That was in confidence.
This awareness adds a layer of existential bleakness to his depravity. He recognizes that he is alone, that no one values him beyond his utility as a weapon. He even admits that there are moments where he feels the weight of that isolation deeply enough to cry, yet he refuses to. Not because he cannot, but because he sees no point. This line,
Not a single person in the entire universe would care.
is not just self-pity, it is a statement of fact as he understands it. And instead of challenging that reality, he embraces it. If he is to be alone, if he is to be nothing more than a tool, then he will become the most extreme version of that tool imaginable. This is what elevates him from a brutal warrior to something closer to a force of nature. He does not merely accept pain, he incorporates it into his experience, finding meaning in the act of inflicting and enduring it simultaneously.
I'll tell you no such thing. Truth is, I want you to resist. I am done with you. I am going to kill everyone else.
This is where Conquest becomes truly disturbing. His loneliness does not humanize him in a comforting way. It radicalizes him. Rather than seeking connection or meaning beyond violence, he doubles down on the one thing that defines him. His bloodlust becomes both coping mechanism and identity. Violence is the only space where he feels seen, even if that recognition comes in the form of fear and horror. When others recoil from him, when they whisper about his instability, it reinforces the role he has accepted. He is not meant to belong, he is meant to destroy. Even his relationship to the Viltrum Empire reflects this dynamic. While he shows deference to Thrag and understands the hierarchy, there is a sense that his loyalty is purely functional. He serves because it allows him to continue doing what he loves under the guise of purpose. The Empire provides him with endless opportunities for violence, and in return, he becomes their ultimate weapon, their nuclear option.
I'm not here to spread the greatness of the Viltrum Empire. I'm here because I enjoy this. I want to thank you, Mark. You know, it's not often I get to cut loose like this. Usually there are so many mission parameters, so many...
And this arrangement is inherently dehumanizing. He is valued not as an individual, but as a last resort. And again, he is aware of this. His request for punishment after failure is not born of remorse, but of understanding. He knows the rules of the system he exists within, even if he transcends its moral boundaries. Conquest's interactions with Mark also serve as a dark mirror to Mark's own journey. Mark struggles throughout the series with questions of morality, responsibility, and what it means to use power. Conquest represents the endpoint of abandoning those questions entirely. He is what power looks like when stripped of empathy, when freed from the burden of conscience. In that sense, his presence is not just antagonistic, it is cautionary. He embodies a path Mark could theoretically take, one where strength becomes justification for indulgence and violence becomes identity. Yet unlike other cautionary figures, Conquest offers no ideological argument.
Oh no! We can't let your brother miss all the fun! See, to me, there is no greater pleasure than feeling the warmth of my fists drenched in blood. I think the good with the bad.
He does not try to persuade Mark, does not attempt to convert him to a worldview. Instead, he demonstrates. His philosophy is immersive. He shows Mark what unrestrained power looks like in practice, forcing him to confront it not through debate, but through survival. Every blow, every taunt, every act of cruelty is a lesson, one written in blood rather than words. Conquest's lasting impact comes from this combination of extremes. He is at once deeply aware and utterly unrestrained, capable of articulating his isolation while simultaneously perpetuating it through his actions. His depravity is not mindless, but it is absolute. He chooses violence not because he must, but because he wants to, and that choice is what makes him so terrifying. In a series where even Nolan understands he was wrong and is undergoing a redemption arc, Conquest stands as something stark and unyielding. He does not evolve, does not soften, does not seek redemption.
Get ready. This is gonna be a hell of a mess. It's been so long, I can't believe I get to kill you too. You don't. It was mostly your magic girlfriend. I can't wait to taste her blood again.
Even in death, there is no sense that he regrets anything. If anything, his final moments suggest the opposite, that he experienced exactly what he wanted, a prolonged, brutal conflict that allowed him to indulge in his nature to the fullest. That is why his presence lingers, not because of how long he appears, but because of how completely he defines himself within that time. Conquest is not just a villain in Invincible. He is an embodiment of violence, stripped of pretense, a being who has looked at his own emptiness and chosen to fill it with bloodshed. And in doing so, he leaves behind a chilling impact, that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are not those who are lost or broken, but those who know exactly what they are and revel in it.